It is such a pleasure to have Diana Boja with me today. She's a syndicated columnist, writing Family Matters, published author of Parenting with a Purpose, and behavioral specialist and parent coach. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you so much.
It's really good. You know, we were talking off camera, and she said something that I thought was just exciting. And she says, "Oh no, I don't want to say that, but I think that you should give a little bit about your background."
Well, I grew up just outside of Manhattan, and my dad was a television director, and he directed Sesame Street and the Ed Sullivan Show. And I was just saying that I feel like I'm back home here on the set. You know, I met Lassie and Mr. Green Jeans years ago, so you know, it was very exciting to be part of that whole thing years ago.
I'm sure that's right. And see, these young people probably don't have a clue. They might still remember Sesame Street, though.
Right.
But Lassie and all of that.
Right.
But that I grew up with that, so yeah. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, so how did you get into writing? What got you involved in this kind of work?
I've been working with parents for nearly 30 years in different venues, and and it's my background with so much research, and what I had to say was continues to be so effective for parents to learn how to communicate with their children so that children can listen. It eliminates yelling and harsh punishment, and everyone is finding this to be just an amazing alternative to reaching and teaching children. So I started with my syndicated column about 4 years ago, which is read across the United States, and it appears in Canton on Wednesdays in the repository. We have a little sample over here.
And the name of your column is?
The name of my column is Family Matters,
Family Matters.
And it's each Wednesday, which it appears here. It can also be read online. It can be, I have a website, yourperfectchild.com, which hosts all of the columns. So if you're looking for temper tantrums or sleep problems, or how to help with homework, or how to set a curfew, all of those columns are listed there according to concern. And then I just felt I was really ready for the next step and published a book, Parenting with a Purpose. So
okay, and that book, talk a little bit about what's in the book.
Categorized into chapters, and it is a methodology of positive parenting. We all want our children to succeed and to do the best that they can do, and to grow up and be confident and strong in what they do. And those suggestions are in the book throughout each chapter of different ways to handle different situations, which are highly effective and very successful.
Well, you've been doing this long enough. So
I have been doing this long enough, and I have 3 children, so I lived through it, and they are all resilient and vibrant. I raised them, I divorced early on, and so I raised them through their adolescence and teen years alone, and so I practiced a lot of what my research showed, and they are resilient, working on Wall Street, going to law school. They're really doing well. So
very good.
I'm a proud mom. This is my daughter on the cover.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And where can they purchase this book?
Locally, Mercy Hospital is highlighting it in their gift shop. Bueller's is offering that. I have multiple book signings all around the county, and those can be found on the Stark County Library book signings. In Greene, I'm going to be at Blake's Cafe and Cupcakery in November.
So you're doing lots of book signings.
I'm all over.
So this is new.
And many of them. This
is
just
press.
right off the press, a few months old, and I'm offering a lot of presentations along with those signings, so that I can speak to people individually and find out what they.
Well, I'm sure that parents appreciate you, because trying to raise young people today, children, is very challenging.
It is very challenging.
Than
These
when
are
we
very
came up,
different times, and I'm always so impressed with parents who step up and say, you know, I know it's not a big deal, but I'm just having a little struggle with this, and boy, I can probably suggest something that they can try differently, and it works, and then their whole house just runs very seamlessly with just a few little suggestions here and there.
That's very good. Now, you also work with child and adolescent behavioral services.
Right,
so
yes. Here in Stark County, I am a parent coach for child and adolescent behavioral health. There are 3 locations. My office is located at the Early Childhood Resource Center, which is on Cleveland Avenue, so that I can help parents as they walk in the door. They may not even be looking
Right.
for mental health services or evaluations, but I can provide that information for them, or I can just sit down with them if they're not ready to open up services. So I'm available.
That's very good. For those of you who just tuned in, I'm talking with Diana Bogia, and she's a syndicated columnist writing Family Matters, published author of a recently published book, Parenting with a Purpose, and she's a behavioral specialist and parent coach. So thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned because she's got to talk about more, and we have Lester Sanders coming up. Now tell me, you mentioned you talk about temper tantrums with kids. What's some advice for when your child starts throwing a temper tantrum?
Well, I think your key word there was start, because you know, we can kind of sense what's going to happen, and we have many opportunities before they get to level 10. So when they are at a level 1, 2, or 3, you can talk with a touch, which is a multisensory communication, which reaches into their brain and helps them stabilize before they get to a 10. You can remove to remediate. That's another little catchphrase that I like to use, which is just guiding them away from an audience. You can
because children love an audience, don't they?
They sure do love an audience. Right. And many parents are afraid, or, you know, they don't want to address their children's behaviors out in public because of the potential escalation. So children then learn, I can do anything here in the store or in the restaurant because she's going to let this slide. And so I really encourage children, and right on the back of my book it says, embrace those moments as a parent that you are trained and empowered to manage with just a few key phrases such as remove to remediate, or say less and do more. That means show your actions as you are taking them away, or providing some physical presence, your physical presence next to your child, rather than yelling from over here or another room. Your physical presence makes a huge difference. So there's many little training techniques that parents can use.
Well, you know, you took me way back in time now when I was a child, which was many years ago, and I had a temper tantrum in the store because I love these little Twinkies, right? So my mother was like, no, you're not getting one. And so I just fell out on the floor and started kicking, and she just smiled, and she was like, wait till I get you home. So you better get up. You know, I'll never forget that. You know, it
very impressionable. So she managed your behavior then, and she addressed it. And that's what's so important is about addressing every behavior. Positive behaviors, and that's how you can decrease the number of temper tantrums, is by recognizing 5 to 8 positive things that your child does in a day. If they spill their crayons, you know, and they pick them up, give a connective touch and say, I'm always so proud of you when you're responsible. If your teenagers doing their homework without complaints, it's that support. It's the emotional support and talking with a touch and recognizing all of their efforts, because if their efforts go unrecognized, they lose their motivation.
Right. That's good, and that positive thing is good when they're doing something.
That's right, and we tend not to recognize the positives. We just notice every time they're doing something wrong.
Negative,
and it's negative, so it's negative reinforcement.
Right.
So this flips it over to recognizing positives.
And you know, children start at a very early age of knowing how to get their way, don't they?
They certainly do.
So you have
they
to
certainly
really handle
do.
That from the beginning
From the very beginning, yes.
Until it gets so it won't get out of hand.
That's right.
You know,
I do have a child development section in here, up through age 5. But this book is written for toddlers through teens. I'm now thinking of expanding it through 20-somethings, because there's a lot of 20-somethings who are still at home and still, needing parenting guidance and looking for it. So. Yeah, this goes across the board. Multisensory communication, works with coworkers, works with...
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know, when you talk with a touch or you're fully engaged with someone, instead of always coming up with the answers, finding out and talking with a touch, just a gentle touch on the shoulder, lets that person know that you're engaged with them, that you're understanding, that you're listening, and you're open.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you cover all of that in Parenting with a Purpose.
I sure do.
All right, and so it's at the Altman, is it?
Mercy.
Okay.
Yes, Mercy and Bueller's and a bunch of different places. It's also available on my website, Your Perfect Child. .com. I would be happy to sign copies with a personalized message. It's available on online retailers, Amazon and so forth.
Now, when are you at the Early Childhood Resource Center? What
I
days
am
are you
there on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Okay, and what
Full
what time?
days.
Full days.
Full
Okay,
days.
So if someone
Yeah.
wanted to see you,
They can stop in, they can
your-
call, make an appointment. Wonderful.
Your website is up there, yourperfectchild.com.
Yes.
And that's the cover of your book. That's your
Yes,
child,
it
right
is.
on that
That's
book.
my daughter, yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Very good. So there it
Yes.
is. People can
Available
log-
on Facebook. You know, I would love to be a Facebook friend,
Oh,
and I
great.
do that to
Okay.
answer lots of questions that just pop up.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
yes.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Well, your services are needed everywhere. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
parents appreciate you, and I'm sure you do workshops and things
I
like
do,
that, right?
I do. I
Yeah.
also consult with parents across the country because they are reading my column across the country.
right,
and
'cause
they're
you're
calling
syndicated,
in.
yes.
Right, so I do.
Well, we're
you know.
blessed to have you here
Well,
in Canton.
thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank
that's
you.
right. A
I-
syndicated columnist, most definitely.
Thank you.
So this is really good. I was so excited when I received the call from the young lady at the Early Childhood Resource Center, and she says, "Oh, you have to call Betty back." Right?
Yes,
So
yes,
I
yeah.
appreciate that contact
Yes.
from her, and I want to thank her for that. So your first, is this your first book?
I did work in collaboration with the New England Journal of Medicine in the 90s and
Oh, wow.
published a book with them, Building Blocks. But
Okay.
this is my first book on my own.
Very good. Well, Diana, I thank you so much for taking time out and talking to us. And please, pick up her book. Go to her website, yourperfectchild.com,
Yes.
and you can learn more about this wonderful lady. So now I
Thank you.
want, once again, thank you very much, and I want you all to stay tuned because in our next segment I have Lester Sanders coming in. He's a wonderful young man, a motivational speaker, and you want to hear what he has to say. So I'll be right back.
It's Timothy Green's first day at school.
What's in there? He's
Well,
about to
just
fall
anything
over.
he might need. There's a box of tissues on the bottom and some Band-Aids. There's a whole first aid kit, actually.
Mom, I can handle it from here.
You don't have to be perfect
Have a great day.
That's too much pressure.
Have the day you have.
to be a perfect parent.
There are two people in the world who want you more than anything. They'll make some mistakes, but they will love you more than you can ever imagine.
There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.